Greetings all. I am Dorian Swinger presenting a screencast over a lesson plan and implementation on European partitioning of Southwest Asia and its impact on citizens' lives. Here is the overview of the lesson plan and implementation, starting with the standards. So the Georgia Social Studies Standards is SS7H2. Analyze continuity and change in Southwest Asia, the Middle East. Describe how land and religion plays a role in continuing conflicts in the Middle East. The technology standards are students will demonstrate creative thinking, constructive knowledge, and develop innovative products and processes using technology. Going down to the overview. So in this lesson, students should be able to describe the role of land and religion on the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Students will learn about three major conflicts that are happening in the Middle East, including the division between the Sunni Shia Muslims, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and the Kurdish nationalism. Students will have to have background knowledge about how the existence of political boundaries created through European partitioning has contributed to many different ethnic and religious groups living with similar boundaries. For example, how Israel is mostly Judaism, where the United Nations divided the land for them to have. However, the land was formerly Palestine, and the Arabs believe that they also have claims to this land. This has created tension and ongoing conflict. Similar patterns are seen with the division of the Sunni Shia Muslims, as well as the Kurdish ethnic group who are fighting to call their own country, trying to fight for their own country to call home. We will start off giving background knowledge about European partitioning and reviewing European partitioning, as we have talked about the Scramble for Africa and have seen similar content before. We will start off with an opener called a My House activity, and they'll use one of the digital tools of Canva to do this activity, and I'll show us how that looks in just a second. After the opener, they will really ground themselves in the essential questions, really looking at how does European partitioning impact citizens' lives. The students will be assessed through a raft assignment where they will create interview questions on a platform of Anchor FM, which is also another digital tool that we use in this lesson. They will basically be acting as a role of an interviewer or reporter and interview the Secretary General for the United Nations to see how their feelings of partitioning Southwest Asia makes them feel after they know how it impacts citizens' lives. Looking at the essential questions. So how did the partitioning of land in Southwest Asia impact the citizens' lives living there? And how does land and religion play a role in continued conflicts in the Middle East? Again, their assessment will be a RAFT assessment, which stands for role, audience, format, and topic. Their role will again be a reporter in 1948. Their audience will be the Secretary General of the United Nations in 1948. Their topic is about a reporter in 1948 who just heard about the United Nations proposed a partition plan for Palestine and Israel. They're to develop questions to ask the Secretary General on this proposal after knowing how it impacts the citizens. They must ask the questions that will make the Secretary General think about his decisions and how it can potentially lead to conflict. They will reflect on these essential questions and then also have peer feedback through the answering of the interview questions. So the criteria for success is in this rubric. Now we want to jump to the resources. So we have a student handout that they will both have digitally and a hard copy of, and also the Nearpod lesson. And I'm going to walk us through that. So here is a handout that they will have. Again, so the My House activity, that will be both digitally and they have a printout of. They will have their vocabulary practice, which continues with the topic of the My House. They will take notes, look at the essential question, and then their assessment is here as well, along with the exemplars. At the end, they have their reflections. So going into how Canva looks for them. So with Canva, they will have, start off here, go to this blank page and start on the Canva project. So I did an exemplar of my own house and my three favorite things, my favorite possession that I would have, pizza, gold, and cars. And then continue on with that opener. It talks about how would I feel if somebody came in and had to stay with me or took those things away. What would be my emotions to ground those in the emotions of how that looks. So here is the Nearpod. If you go through the Nearpod, which is also going to be in the lesson plan as well, we'll go through the lesson and some fun things like collaborative boards and also polls to ground them in the lesson. We will end here on Anchor FM to do their interviews. They will just come here and do a new episode to start on their interviews, and that would be their final assessment for this lesson. So again, this is just a screencast of the digital tools and how we would use them quickly in the lesson, and then see the lesson plan for more in-depth information. Thank you again.